ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. So yesterday we finished, welcome to the, first of all, to the reading today from the basics of Bhagavad Gita. And yesterday we were reading the chapter, The Wheel of Samsara and the Law of Karma. So our understanding yesterday was that the karma is divided into three subdivisions: karma, akarma, vikarma. The karma and vikarma, they bind us to this material world. They bring us over and over to this material world. After lifetimes and lifetimes, we keep doing the circles of this world. And by doing akarma, only we can be free from the bondage from this material world. So, what's the secret of doing akarma? The secret of doing akarma is to do everything in your life with Krishna as its center, beginning from feeding your body, to eating, to waking up, doing all sorts of activities, even cleaning the house. You're cleaning the house because it's Krishna's house. It's not your house. You have been just given a loan for some time. And you're looking after your family because they are also Krishna's family. Krishna has given them for this particular lifetime. And similarly, your children might be source of happiness and sometimes source of unhappiness to you, but that is because, like we're reading the last chapter, that something must have been done bad in the last life somewhere, that soul has come to settle there. We have been actually given birth with that soul, or we have been given the relationship with that soul, so that we can deplete or finish that account of bad debt which we have accumulated. So हम जब भी कर्मा या विकर्मा करेंगे तो हम दो तरह के खाते खोल लेंगे, लाइक द से इन हिंदी, दो तरह के अकाउंट खोल लेंगे, एक गुड अकाउंट और एक बैड अकाउंट. अच्छे कर्म पुण्य कर्म करके हमारा गुड अकाउंट क्रेडिट इकट्ठे होंगे, और जो बुरे कर्म होंगे, हमने जो सिन करे हुए हैं, पाप करे हुए हैं, इस जन्म के या किसी जन्म के भी हैं, तो वो जाएंगे अकाउंट में जो है बैड अकाउंट. जो अच्छे अकाउंट जब हमारे खर्च होंगे तो हमारे जीवन में खुशी आती है. जब हमको मिजरी या दुख मिलता है, कोई दर्द मिलता है, तकलीफ मिलती है, तो वो हमारे एक्चुअली हमको समझना चाहिए जो हमारे बैड अकाउंट हैं, जो हमारे बैड विकर्मा हैं, जो हमने किसी न किसी जन्म में किए हैं, वो खत्म हो रहे हैं. परंतु ये खत्म नहीं होते हैं. They never come to end, because sometimes a life comes to end suddenly, so our accounts are not finished. There must be really a rare person who has only got a karma, that is, all his karmas are actually towards Krishna, so they are not counted as karma or vikarma, they are counted as akarma. Generally, most of the people will have either some good or bad still remaining in both accounts, so they have to finish them off. That's why Krishna will send us back to this world, because that's the only way we will get rid of them. So let us start the new chapter today. It is titled Material Nature and Time. I wanted to sit outside, but it's felt a little bit uncertain, but suddenly the sun has come out now. But nevertheless, I'll continue from indoors. Material nature, that is Prakriti, and time, that is Samay or Kal. So what is Prakriti? That is material nature. The Supreme Lord is Purusha, that is enjoyer, and everything else is Prakriti, that is that which has to be enjoyed. So Bhagwan Lord, He is only the Purusha. He is the enjoyer, and everything else, whether it's man, whether it's woman, whether it's different kinds of species around us, everything else is Prakriti or the material nature, and it has to be enjoyed by Bhagwan. And that is the unfortunate situation, that when we come to this sansar, we start thinking that everything around us is to be enjoyed by me because I have worked for it and I have paid for it. मैंने इसके ऊपर पैसे खर्च किए हैं, सो मेरा ही इसके ऊपर अधिकार बनता है, जो बिल्कुल गलत धारणा है। गलत धारणा है क्योंकि हमें मालूम नहीं है, हम सोचते हैं आई एम द लॉर्ड ऑफ दिस castle where I am, it all belongs to me. We don't even think that the food which we buy, the comforts which we have, everything has to be first offered to Krishna because He is the proprietor. He is the Malik of that. And we start thinking that belongs to us. And we create more and more bondage with this material world or this samsara this way. So, Prakriti is of two kinds. Material energy, which is called the Apara Prakriti or inferior energy of God, and spiritual energy, which is called the Para Prakriti or superior energy of God. So the material energy or Prakriti is of two types. First is the Apara Prakriti or the inferior energy of God, and spiritual energy, which is the Para Prakriti of God. So before I would like to show you this picture which has just come up in this. This is beautiful painting, very famous painting. This is the picture of the time. That is God Himself. That is time, and everything eventually goes back to Him. Now, another picture here. This is the Apara. अपरा प्रकृति की मालिक कौन है? Goddess Durga, Krishna's sister. She has been made the superintendent of all the apara prakriti. The material energy consists of 8 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. I will try to translate in Hindi because it's a good idea to know in the names in Hindi as well. भूमि, जल, अग्नि, वायु, आकाश, that is ether, mind, man, intelligence, buddhi, false ego, which is ahankar. And the first 5 elements we know, they are the gross elements, और स्थूल जिनको बोलते हैं हिंदी में, और the last 3, the intelligence, mind, and false ego, they are the subtle or the sukshma energy or the Shakti. We are made up of all these 8 because we are material energy, the body, and the soul, that is the spiritual energy. The spiritual energy within this world is the aggregate of all the individual spirit souls. I will repeat. The spiritual energy within this world is the aggregate of all the individual spirit souls. Prakriti means energy, both the prakritis, both the energies, that is material and spiritual. इसको हिंदी में कहेंगे प्राकृतिक और आध्यात्मिक, दोनों का ही काम है उनको एंगेज करना भगवान की सेवा में, सर्विस में. So both the prakritis or the energies, material and spiritual, are meant to be engaged in the service of the supreme energetic Krishna, who is the source of all energies. So who is the source of all energies? It's Bhagwan Krishna. The material world is constituted of the material energy but is being sustained by the spiritual energy, that is the souls. Okay, जो प्रकृति, जो ये हमारे चारों तरफ है, the material world, जो प्रकृति है, ये किससे बनी है? material energy से. पर इसको चला कौन रहा है? ये किसके बल पर ये जीवित है, किसके बल पर हमको ये जीवित लगती है? वो है स्पिरिचुअल एनर्जी, वो है सोल. इसी प्रकार हमारा भी यही हाल है. हमारा शरीर तो मैटर से बना है, मटेरियल है, कुछ नहीं है, पर इसको जीवित किसने रखा है? हमारी सोल ने। और हमारी सोल के साथ, हमारी आत्मा के साथ परमात्मा, वो हमारी पूरी देखभाल करते हैं, चाहे वो छोटे से छोटा जीव हो, चाहे बड़े से बड़ा जीव हो। इस दुनिया में हर एक के साथ उसी साइज की आत्मा है। और मैं दोबारा से इसको दोहराती हूँ, रिपीट करती हूँ, उस आत्मा का साइज है 1 above 10,000th पार्ट ऑफ द टिप ऑफ द हेयर। बाल को अगर आप एक बाल को पकड़ेंगे तो उसके जो टॉप का जो पार्ट है उसका 10,000वां हिस्सा, वो है सोल का साइज। और यही आत्मा है जो सब क्रियाकलाप करा रही है, जिससे हम सब अपने आप को अलाइव समझते हैं, जीवित समझते हैं। ओके, जनरली however the word prakriti refers to the material energy and we all use this word in this sense here. This is one of the 5 subjects discussed in the Bhagavad Gita. तो भगवत गीता के सबसे ज़्यादा बार बार रिपीट होने वाले 5 विषय हैं। वो विषय कौन कौन से हैं? Our universe is the first. Then the whole material creation and how each universe is created, maintained and destroyed. Prakriti is eternal, but the material world is not. The spiritual world. Then Mahavishnu, the source of the material world, creation within each universe. Brahma is the creator. The third expansion of Vishnu, Paramatma, the super soul, the destruction of the universe, the 3 modes of material nature, bondage due to the 3 modes, characteristics of the material of the 3 modes. Krishna is beyond the 3 modes. Time, the Kala. Division of time. So these are the subheadings which we'll be reading as we go along reading this chapter. So what are the 5 main subjects which are repeated again and again in Bhagavad Gita? The first one is Prakriti, the material nature. The second one is Atma, the soul. The third one is Jiva, which is us, all the species around living, inhabiting it. And then fourth is Paramatma, the super soul. And the fifth is time or the Kal. तो ये 5 विषय डिस्कस किए गए हैं पूरी की पूरी भागवत गीता में. So our universe, now let's start reading it. Let us learn in brief what our Vedic scriptures say about our universe. Our universe is very large in size and is egg-shaped. ये अंडाकार है, thus it is called Brahmanda. But this is not like any anda like we think. No, this is Brahmanda. Okay? The covering of the universe has 7 layers, each made of different elements, and each outer layer being 10 times thicker than the one immediately preceding it. We are only talking about our universe, but like we read earlier on, there are unlimited universes created by Lord. But we only know about ours, the 9 planets and the Milky Way. That's all we know about. So the covering of the universe has 7 layers. Very, very thought-provoking and interesting subject. So each universe has got 7 layers and each is made of different elements, and each outer layer is 10 times thicker than the one immediately preceding it. So the first layer, उसके बाद जो second layer है वो पहली layer से 10 times thick. उसकी जो next है उससे भी 10 times thick. उससे भी जो next है 10 times thick. तो जब आप सोचेंगे तो हम सोच भी नहीं सकते कि यूनिवर्स का साइज क्या है हमारे यूनिवर्स का. और ये तो एक ही यूनिवर्स है पूरे इसमें कॉस्मोस में, से तो अनलिमिटेड अनगिनत हैं. तो लाइक व्हेन वी से भगवान की महिमा अपरंपार है, ओनली ही नोज. वो अपने आप को बड़े से बड़ा कर लेते हैं, छोटे से छोटा कर लेते हैं. अणु एंड विभु. विभु इज अनलिमिटेड, अणु इज लिमिटेड, द स्मॉलेस्ट. So inside the space of this egg, there are 14 levels of planetary system. So just to recap, we were reading earlier, unlimited universe and 14 planetary systems in our universe. And our planetary system is called the Bhuloka, and it is in the middle. So our universe has got 14 planetary system and it is called Bhuloka, and it is in the middle. Above this are the 6 higher planetary system, which are Bhuvarlok, Swarglok, Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok, and finally the Satyalok, which is the topmost. In each of these planetary systems, there are many planets, each having appropriate life forms. So I'll try to show you a little, it's very, very, very faint picture, but just to give you some idea. So you can Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, Swargalok, Maharlok, Janalok, Tapalok, and Satyalok, which is the abode of Lord Brahma. Okay, so this is called the Jada Jagat, created by Garbhodakshai Vishnu, and he's here, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, lying in the ocean, and when he breathes out, everything is created here, and when he breathes in, everything comes to an end. And you can see the size of this picture is very small, so let's see if we can just show you something else. Anyway, we will just talk about this later on as we go. So below the Bhuloka, there are 7 lower planetary systems: the Atal, Vital, Sutal, Talatal, Mahatal, Rasatal, and Patal. So I couldn't read there, that was Rasatal. I don't know if I said right or wrong. It's very, very minute because the size of the book is small. In all these 14 planetary systems, there is birth and death. As Lord Krishna says, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna Mam Upetya Tu Konteya Punar Janna Vidyate. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, verse 16. Translated as, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery, wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. In addition to these, there are many varieties of hellish planets located even below the 14 planetary system. So below the 14 planetary system, we have 6 above us and 7 below us. And below all of these, there are hellish planets. That is the Narak, like we say in Hindi. And there, very, very sinful people go. That is a preparation for their next births in lower species of life on earth. So sinful people have to be sent there by Lord to send for the appropriate punishment and just to prepare them for their next life, which will be in the lower species on earth. Now, the whole material creation. Our universe is only one tiny universe amongst millions of others, many of which are far bigger than ours. Our universe is thus like a tiny mustard seed in a large bag of mustard seeds. I'll repeat. Our universe is like a tiny mustard seed in a large bag of mustard seeds. So you imagine आपके पास बहुत बड़ा एक mustard seed का, सरसों के बीज का एक थैला है, उसमें जो एक सीड है वो हमारे यूनिवर्स का साइज है. तो जब हम भगवान को आवाज लगाते हैं तो हम क्या सोचते हैं ना, कि भगवान के लिए हम बहुत सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, हमारी जो भी चल रहा है वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, बाकी कुछ नहीं. हम तो एक मस्टर्ड सीड के समान हैं, सरसों के बीज के समान हैं. In every universe there is a Brahma who is empowered for the task of creation, and Lord Shiva who is empowered for the task of destruction. Lord Krishna personally takes charge of sustaining the universe in this form as Vishnu, because sustaining is the most difficult part. Now, we only know about the Brahma of our universe, but there are lots of other Brahmas in different universes. So each universe has got his own Brahma. He's empowered. उनको भगवान ने एम्पावर किया है, शक्तिशाली बनाया है उत्पत्ति के लिए, फॉर द क्रिएशन. और शिवा है एम्पावर्ड, और उनको शक्ति दी है भगवान ने विनाश के लिए या डिस्ट्रक्शन के लिए. पर भगवान इस दुनिया को चलाने का काम या जिम्मा खुद लेते हैं. इसकी जिम्मेदारी भगवान ने खुद ली है, क्योंकि बनाना और नाश करना आसान है फिर भी, पर किसी चीज़ को चलाते रहना सबसे डिफिकल्ट है. भगवान को पता है कि कोई भी नहीं चला पाएगा. को चलाने का काम भगवान का अपना है, और ये है विष्णु के फॉर्म में, विष्णु के रूप में. This means that there are as many Brahmas, Vishnus and Shivas as there are material universes. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated one incident about the four-headed Brahma of our universe approaching Lord Krishna in Dwarka. So our Lord Brahma is four-headed Brahma. And listen to the story of our four-headed Brahma of our universe approaching Lord Krishna in Dwarka. When Brahma entered Lord Krishna's room, he was astonished to see millions of other Brahmas and Shivas with large number of heads and countless Indras too. Other Brahmas and Shivas by Krishna's mystic potency could not see any other Brahma or Shiva. Only four-headed Brahma by the Krishna's special arrangement could see the others. All the other Brahmas, Shivas and others offered their respects to Krishna, and with the latter's blessings they departed. So, हमारे ब्रह्मा के 4 heads हैं. So, जब ब्रह्मा जी ने देखा जाके कि कृष्णा के पास द्वारका में और भी अनगिनत ब्रह्मा बैठे हुए हैं, अनगिनत इंद्रस बैठे हैं और शिवास बैठे हैं, तो वो जरूर हैरान होंगे, एस्टॉनिश्ड हुए होंगे. पर भगवान ने कुछ ऐसा चमत्कार किया कि जो बाकी ब्रह्मास बैठे थे दूसरे विष्णु यूनिवर्सेस के, दूसरे अंतरिक्ष के, उनको ये 4 सर वाले ब्रह्मा जी दिखाई नहीं दिए. All the Brahmas and all the Shivas, they offered their respects to Krishna, and with the latter's blessings they departed. So बाकी सब ब्रह्मास और जो शिवास थे, उन्होंने अपनी अपनी अर्चना या फिर अपने वंदना करके भगवान की, और अपने अपने लोक को चले गए, वापस अंतरिक्ष को वापस चले गए. Lord Krishna explained to the four-headed Brahma that his universe was the smallest among the vast multitude of universes, each of which was very large. The larger the universe, the larger the number of heads of Brahma in that universe. Thus there were Brahmas with thousands and even millions of heads, whose universes were trillions and trillions of miles wide. Oh, sorry, I think I have made a mistake in the earlier paragraph. I should have read, when our Brahma, he entered Lord Krishna's room, he was astonished to see millions of other Brahmas and Shivas with large number of heads and countless Indras also. Okay, तो जब कृष्णा ने समझाया ब्रह्मा जी को, हमारे ब्रह्मा जी को, 4 सिर वाले ब्रह्मा जी को, कि आपका जो यूनिवर्स है वो सबसे छोटा है और बाकी सारे यूनिवर्स बहुत बहुत बड़े हैं, और उनके जो ब्रह्मास हैं उनके तो अनगिनत सर हैं, उनके हजारों सर हैं, कईयों के इवन मिलियन सर हैं, और कईयों के तो ट्रिलियन, और जो यूनिवर्स हैं वो ट्रिलियन माइल्स बड़े हैं. So we can thus understand how absolutely tiny and insignificant we are in this material creation. This should bring out a sense of humility in all of us and make us realize how petty our worldly ambitions and plans are. हम लोगों को ऐसे समय में जन्म मिला है कलयुग में जब हमारी महत्वाकांक्षाएं या हमारी एम्बिशंस बहुत बहुत बड़े हैं। हम सोचते हैं कि हमारी एम्बिशंस, हमारी महत्वाकांक्षाएं ही सबसे बड़ी हैं, हमें उनके आगे कुछ नहीं पता, क्योंकि इसमें हमारा भी कसूर नहीं है। हमारे पूर्व जन्मों के चलते जो हमारे पाप कर्म हमसे हुए हैं उसके रहते हमें ऐसी बुद्धि, छोटी बुद्धि मिली है। पर हमारा यह अहोभाग्य है कि हमने उस वक्त जन्म लिया है जिस युग में महाप्रभु का आगमन हुआ था इस युग में। और ये कलयुग वो वाला कलयुग होता है जो त्रेता के पश्चात द्वापर जब आता है, उस कलयुग में महाप्रभु आते हैं। तो जिस कलयुग में महाप्रभु आते हैं, क्योंकि जब कलयुग त्रेता के पश्चात द्वापर आता है तब कृष्णा का आगमन होता है वृंदावन में। जब कृष्णा आते हैं उसके बाद जो कलयुग आता है, क्योंकि वह त्रेता के बाद कलयुग आ जाता है, अदरवाइज अन्यथा पहले द्वापर पहले और त्रेता बाद आता है, जो 4 युगों का होता है चक्र। क्योंकि महाप्रभु आए हैं तो हमें यह आशीर्वाद मिला है भगवान से कि हम इस कलयुग में आराम से आगे जा सकते हैं भगवान के धाम के निकट। क्यों? क्योंकि भगवान इस कलयुग में अपने नाम में ही निवास करते हैं। द होली नेम resides is the residence of the Lord himself. So हमको समझना चाहिए कि जो भगवान ने एक्सप्लेन किया हमारे ब्रह्मा जी को कि तुम्हारा तो यूनिवर्स सबसे छोटा है, तो हम जब हमारा यूनिवर्स सबसे छोटा है, हमारे ब्रह्मा जी भी छोटे हैं, हमारा अंतरिक्ष भी छोटा है, हमारी भूमि भी छोटी है, तो उस भूमि में हमारा साइज है एक सरसों के बीज के बराबर। एक बड़ी सी थैली में बहुत सारे सरसों के बीज पड़े हैं। There are lots of mustard seeds in a bag and we are like a tiny mustard seed. This is the size of our universe. So अगर वो mustard seed का साइज है तो हम क्या हो गए? We are very very insignificant. और इससे हमको अपनी, जिसको कहते हैं अपनी what do we say in Hindi? औकात. औकात is actually an Urdu word. हमको अपनी मालूम चलनी चाहिए कि what is our significance, हमारी जगह क्या है, हमारा स्थान क्या है इस पूरे भगवान की सृष्टि में। सो इससे हमें बहुत ज़्यादा हम्बलनेस आनी चाहिए, ह्यूमिलिटी आनी चाहिए, सहिष्णुता आनी चाहिए कि हमारे एम्बिशंस क्या हैं भगवान के लिए। भगवान के तो बहुत बड़े बड़े कार्य हैं, पर फिर भी भगवान के जो प्रण था कि मैं अपनी बनाई हुई हर एक आत्मा के साथ उसका पूरा सहयोग करूंगा। उसके जीवन काल में भगवान हमारे साथ रहते हैं परमात्मा के रूप में। So there's another beautiful picture I'll try to show you. As you can see, there's a Lord sitting, and there's Shiva, and there's Brahma. Each universe is created, maintained, and destroyed. All the universes are created, sustained for a while, and then destroyed. This cycle of creation, maintenance, and destruction goes on eternally. ये समय का चक्र अनवरत चलता रहता है। All these universes are manifestations of Prakriti, the material energy. When the universes are destroyed, Prakriti returns to its original unmanifest state. It is then again activated and the universes are once upon created, only to be destroyed after a while. In this way, the cycle goes on. It is important to note that the Prakriti, being inert or not conscious, cannot act on its own. It needs the superior direction and control of the Lord. Furthermore, while the universes themselves are temporary because they are created, sustained, and destroyed, the Prakriti, on the other hand, is eternal. Let's see a simple example to understand these points. Prakriti is eternal, but the material world is not. Consider the following: mud, a mud pot, and a potter. मिट्टी, मिट्टी का घड़ा, और कुम्हार, उसको बनाने वाला. The potter makes many pots out of mud. These pots remain for some time and eventually they break. The mud that constitutes the pot mixes back with the original mud. Once again, the potter makes pots with the mud and the cycle repeats. We see here that the pots come and go, but the mud remains. The various forms into which the mud is transformed change, but the mud remains, whether before the pots are made, while the pots exist, or after the pots are destroyed. So there's another beautiful picture of the Garbhodakshay Vishnu. You can see Sankarshan, Anantashesh is giving the shade to the Lord. Garbhodakshay Vishnu, that form of Krishna. And you can see from the navel, उनकी नाभि से हमारे ब्रह्मा जी की उत्पत्ति होती है. Like we said earlier on, we read that any one of us among us can be Lord Brahma if we are able to live consecutive 100 lives of piety. पवित्र 100 जन्म अगर हम जी लेते हैं इस धरती पर एक के बाद एक, तो हमको भी यह पद मिल सकता है. पोजीशन हमको उससे भी बड़ा मिल सकता है. वरदान, we can say, we can go back to God and serve Him and get out of this cycle of birth and death. This is what we should be aiming for. So we've just read, the mud remains the same, the pots are made, they exist, and then they're destroyed, and this cycle is repeated over and over again and again. Furthermore, we also note that the mud cannot transform into pots on its own. The expert hands of a potter are required. मिट्टी ऐसे पड़ी है, सारे रसोई के मान लीजिए सारे के सारे जो सामग्री है पड़ी है, अगर उनको इकट्ठा करके कुछ बनाया नहीं जाएगा तो वो ऐसे ही सामग्री पड़ी है, हम नहीं खा सकते. ठीक है, फल हम उठा के कोई खा लेंगे, कोई सब्जी खा लेंगे, और इसी प्रकार मिट्टी बाहर पड़ी है. अगर कोई एक्सपर्ट, अगर कोई बहुत ही विद्वान, हाँ क्या बोलेंगे उसको, मेरे को तो हिंदी बोलने की प्रैक्टिस ही नहीं रही, पर मैं चाहती हूँ कि मैं बोलूँ उससे, क्योंकि ये भी एक बहुत सुंदर भाषा है हमारी, हमें इसको छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. अगर हम उस मिट्टी को की उपयोग करके कोई घड़ा नहीं बनाएगा, कोई दिया नहीं बनाएगा, तो मिट्टी तो ऐसी पड़ी हुई है. सो उसको बनाने वाला एक एक्सपर्ट चाहिए. और वो एक्सपर्ट कौन है? We'll just tell you. Prakriti or material energy is like the mud. The innumerable material universes are like the mud pots. God is like the potter. So वो बनाने वाले एक्सपर्ट कौन है? वो कुम्हार कौन है? वो पॉटर कौन है? वो है भगवान. Therefore, the conclusion is that first, the God exists eternally. Second, Prakriti exists eternally. And third, the material world consisting of transformation of the Prakriti is temporary. Just to recap this conclusion, that God exists eternally, Prakriti exists eternally, and the material world consisting of the transformation of the Prakriti is temporary. So भगवान शाश्वत हैं, प्रकृति शाश्वत है, पर जो मटीरियल वर्ल्ड बनाया गया है यह शाश्वत नहीं है, ये अशाश्वत है. क्योंकि ये कैसे बनता है? प्रकृति के बदलने से, प्रकृति के रूप को बदल के ये बनता है, फिर बिगड़ता है, यानी खत्म होता है. ये चक्र चलता ही रहता है. The material world consisting of transformation of the Prakriti is temporary. Prakriti is inert and is not conscious. It needs a supreme conscious being, God or Lord Krishna, to activate it, just as the mud needs a potter and the material body needs the soul. So जैसे हमारे मटेरियल बॉडी को जीवित करने के लिए एक आत्मा की जरूरत है, इसी प्रकार से प्रकृति को भी जीवित करने के लिए, सजीव बनाने के लिए सुप्रीम कॉन्शियस बीइंग यानी कि भगवान की आवश्यकता है. What lies beyond this Prakriti and the vast multitude of material universes, it is the spiritual world, Vaikunt. Let us learn something about it. और इस प्रकृति से भी परे इसके ऊपर कौन है? वैकुंठ. And I think we will continue reading about the Vaikunt tomorrow. And I again forgot my Guru Maharaj's instructions today. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum rangate kirim tatkripatam adeshri gurudhiraram paramanmadam Shri Chaitaneshwaram. So I will ask for forgiveness also from all of you if I have said something wrong while trying to interpret it in my own words. So you will forgive me. Life is a big learning process. Our lives will come to end, but we would only have touched the surface of the knowledge of Bhagwan and Bhagwan himself. So I'll take your leave and we'll continue our reading tomorrow from here onwards. And it's another very beautiful topic. It is the reading about the spiritual world. And today is the appearance day of Lalita Sakhi. The two most dear Sakhis of Srimati Radharani are Lalita and Vishakha. So today is Lalita Sakhi's birthday. It is on Shashti, so it's called Lalita Shashti. So 2 days from now it will be Radha Ashtami. So I hope you are all looking forward to it. And there is a half-day fast on Radha Ashtami because Radharani was born midday, just like Ramchandra. When Krishna came as Ramchandra, Radharani also came in the midday. So it's only half-day fast. Those of you who would like to keep it, try to keep it. You can have water and drinks if you want to. It's opened at midday, and if you can stay without the water till midday, fine. Take care of your health first. Like Prabhupada says, health is the most important. If you've got health, everything else is doable in this life. And we break this fast with the normal food, with the anna, because only for the Vishnu Tattva we do the fast, which is Ekadashi type. So just to remind everybody, Radharani's favorite food is arbi. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll be getting hold of arbi here in this situation. But in the supermarkets, you get colocasia, which comes from so many countries. It's a bigger form of arbi. It looks a bit like kachalu, if any of you who is from India knows. That's a bigger version of arbi. So I will try to post a very authentic recipe of arbi which they make in the Brajdham, in Barsana, and in Rawal where Radharani was born, and in Barsana where she was raised by Vrishbhanu and Kirtida Sundari, and this is Radharani's mother. And look out for that recipe. It will be posted soon on this page. And it's very lengthy recipe. I've seen it, but we can always do it according to our time and our patience. But I just managed to find the authentic recipe last night, and I shall post that, and I shall see you all tomorrow. Thank you. I think it's Narayan Keshav Prabhu. Thank you for joining me in the reading. I'll catch you all tomorrow. I wish you all a very blissful week ahead. Hare Krishna and Hari Bol.